Since 2003, this is The Sports Source with your host, John Pennington.
The Sports Source is presented by Junk Be Gone, Pipe Wrench, and the Garza Law Firm.
The Sports Source starts now.
Good Sunday morning and welcome into the Sports Source here in the Junk Be Gone studios. We appreciate you joining us. We got a lot coming up today. The SEC Media Days has come and gone. That means that the predictions have been made. We'll discuss and react to where the Volunteers were picked to finish this football season, but there's much more than that. Nico Iamaleava and Joey Aguilar were both ranked and put in different tiers by The Athletic. We'll see what the folks think about what The Athletic said about those two quarterbacks. We'll talk about the big rumor coming out of SEC Media Days. I don't think anybody really buys it, but the rumor is Nick Saban wants to come back. So we'll have a little fun with that. Which programs could he win at if he came back? So it's a different way of looking at the SEC's programs. What would Tennessee do if he called up and said, You're my dream job? It's not going to happen, but it's an interesting little bit of fun we'll have. We did it on our YouTube channel earlier this week. We'll show you what viewers said and tell you who they fell behind, Saban or Heupel. And then also we'll talk a little bit of basketball and some penalty numbers that you really need to see. 4 years of research in terms of penalties. What does that tell us about Josh Heupel's program? And then finally, Josh Heupel happened to be listening to an interview from SEC Media Days with some of the local guys. They asked him a simple question. He acted like they'd ask him if he still beats his wife. It was this dance around this crazy question that's not very difficult. And I want to know why the highest paid employee of the state can't just tell us where he stands on SEC schedules. We'll get into all that. Let's do it now. First segment of our show brought to you by that company I mentioned a minute ago, Junk Be Gone. If you need help cleaning your house, your yard, or your business, call Junk Be Gone. They can tear it down, pack it up, and haul it away. The junk, that is, not your home, yard, or business. Easy and affordable. They do a great job. And now, through July 31st, rent any dumpster and get 2 extra days absolutely free. That is through the end of July. JunkBeGone.biz to learn more. Okay, here to introduce the panel. We still have one more waiting in the wings over there, but right now, Chuck Cavaleris, Ryan Callahan, Paige Dower back with us, Bob Hodge right there. Thanks to all of you for coming in today. Of course, Chuck and Bob have been with me a long time media guys. Paige with Full Disclosure Productions. You can find her on YouTube. Ryan Callahan, you can find him, GoVols247.com. Let's take a look at those SEC Media Day predictions that I mentioned. Those are going to be too small for my guys in the room to read, but I'll tell you what it says. First place votes, Tennessee, they got 1, and they were way down there at the bottom with Ole Miss and Auburn. Vanderbilt with 2 first-place votes. I think this is either the second or third year that Vanderbilt's gotten 2 votes, and it's like, okay, this isn't funny anymore. It just shows how worthless SEC Media Days is these days.
Oh, no.
Predicted order, well, when you let, GoVandy.com in, what do you think they're going to vote? And then the predicted order of finish, this is what stands out. Tennessee 9th. Behind Texas, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, South Carolina way up there, Florida, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, but ahead of, this is interesting, Oklahoma, who's preseason top 25 in a lot of places, ahead of Auburn, ahead of Missouri, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi State. So Tennessee, according to the SEC media and fan blogs that were down there, they're going to finish 9th in the SEC. I saw, like USA Today had them 10th or 11th, Sports Illustrated had them 10th or 11th, so you're finding them 9th, 10th, 11th. Chuck, also, usually the expectations right about now, okay, I've said 10-2, now I think it's 11-1. That's where you normally are at this point. Now that folks are seeing all these predictions come in that say 9th, 10th, or 11th, do you think expectations of the Vol fan base are starting to not crater, but drop into the realistic zone? Or are all those people just wrong?
I think they look at it just the media. They're usually wrong anyway. I mean, we're still in July, right? We haven't even made it to August, and fans are going to be fans. How many times are we out and about somewhere and somebody comes out, I think we're going to surprise some people this year. I think we're going to be better than what they think. I mean, I get it all the time, right? So, no, I don't think the expectations are going down any at all. Part of that is with Ryan covering recruiting, too. You've had some recruiting victories. John, you pointed out how you were like in the 50s or something in the rankings, and you've moved up.
Jumped up to 13th,
So there's been enough good things happen that fans are going to be fans.
Okay. Anybody, are expectations being tempered or no?
I don't get the sense that they're rising or fall. I think fans are kind of in wait-and-see mode with this team just because of the quarterback situation. I don't think anyone really knows what to make of Joey Aguilar yet. Some people still are waiting to see what happens with this competition. Is it Jake Merklinger or someone else? So I just think there are too many reasons for fans to not really know. But I think, generally speaking, this fan base diminished expectations overall. I don't think there's as much talk of making the college football playoff again. I think the final expectation for those who rise and whose expectations go up will be 9-3, somewhere in that range. I think a lot of people will have this team just outside that playoff picture, but still a pretty good team. So I think most people look at this and just think the teams 3 through 10 are jumbled together pretty closely in the SEC, and no one really knows what to do with them because of transfers and all that stuff. Even Oklahoma, pretty good new quarterback, no one really knows what to do with them.
Are these predictions having an impact, or do you agree with these guys? No, they're not.
I would say the impact is that they feel more confident in their decision that maybe Tennessee is an 8-4 team or a 9-3 team. After hearing the team talk about Joey Aguilar, they're like, oh, now I really could say that they are an 8-4 team, and I feel more confident about that. I think sometimes maybe a little earlier, kind of like a little sheepish about it, or you feel like, oh, I hope they could be 8-4. But after hearing even like Arion Carter talk about where Joey Aguilar is impressing with 7-on-7s or 11-on-11s, like I think that should be where Tennessee's finding its confidence. I think you can find some like, oh, Joey's making a good connection with the team. But I'd say they feel more confident in their predetermined end to the season, not that it gives them an extra win or two.
I'll go a different direction. I think people are lowering expectations.
You think they are lowering expectations?
Spent a long road trip with a long-time season ticket holder over the past week, and his expectations, they weren't real high to begin with, but I think he's not going to be shocked if this is an 8-4 team. Probably a little bit surprised with 7-5. And then my season ticket partner, who is one of the most optimistic people in the world when it comes to UT sports, he's stepping back from it a little bit. So I think if you really get into conversations with people, and like Chuck, a lot of people do come up and want to talk about it, if you get into deeper conversations, I think people realize there are a ton of question marks. And whereas usually you go, man, the questions are all going to be answered in our favor, okay, we got a lot of question marks.
Tennessee only has 3 players make the preseason All-SEC teams. Jermod McCoy, of course, made first team on defense, obviously. Boo Carter, Arion Carter made third team. Boo Carter did not get, even though he led the SEC last year in punt returns, he was not the return specialist on the first, second, or third team. I don't know that it's a surprise that, and we've talked about it earlier, you saw the top, what was it, a few weeks ago, we did the top 100 players in the country, and Tennessee had Jermod McCoy. Is it any bit kind of a surprise that you only had 3 people named and only 1 above the third team?
I don't think so. I think that's one of the things about this team. You've got a lot coming back on defense, but even some of those guys coming back, they're not necessarily household names outside of Jermod McCoy. So that's sort of one of the things about this team. The biggest names are young guys or unproven, like Lance Hurd, David Sanders. You just got to kind of wait and see what this team's going to be. So I think that's part of, again, why they're lower in these predictions.
Yes.
They're just not a lot of household names, not a lot of name recognition when you look at this roster, and the ones that you do know are big question marks.
Well, that's where I get confused when we do look at maybe where they finish in the SEC standings, or if you're predicted to be an SEC champion. I think Tennessee is too high then when you compare it to where they are on these first, second, third all-team lists. Like for Tennessee just to have 3, they should be at the bottom of the SEC standings in these other polls, or like Georgia, their first team and all of the special team positions, which I thought was really interesting. But I also don't put too much weight onto it, because I think a lot of these local media members, and maybe sometimes even myself, I'm so focused on the team that I cover that I couldn't name you somebody on Missouri right away. Maybe when you get closer to playing them, but those teams, how would I rate them? Where would I put them? And I think that's why Georgia runs so many.
I agree with that. I think that's something we all talked about that over the years. Everybody is hyper-focused on the team they follow, and you say, well, this guy's good and this guy's bad. Yeah. Well, that's one thing compared to your team, what you saw last year, what you've seen before. It doesn't give you, you're not watching the left guard at Arkansas every play with the same focus you watch the left guard here. You don't know that guy gets flagged every time they do this. Yeah. You know it about the team you covered. So I do think that there is some haze that goes over those predictions. Yeah. Most people know their own school a lot better than they know any of the others.
There was good news in those rankings, though. If you're Tennessee, you play 5 teams that are below you.
Yep, that's true.
So if that plays out, there's your 5-3, which probably goes to the 9-3.
And the point Paige made about the way people watch and some of that, I mean, it's just part of the job. You travel to the stadium, you go to the game, you write about the game, all that stuff afterwards. So it just takes up most of your day. You don't get to watch these other teams. Yeah. I think that's a big part of this. And so I just had so many people I talked to at SEC Media Days had no idea what to think of Tennessee. And their automatic assumption was Dylan Sampson's gone, Nico's gone. I don't know their receivers. They must not be as good this year. So they're just kind of making some general assumptions, and that's why you see them ranked lower, and that's all it is.
And part of it, too, you got to look, you're playing in a 16-team league, right? You've got teams that are building and getting better and got players coming back that had really good seasons. Tennessee, I mean, Arian Carter, but you've got some pretty good linebackers in the SEC, right? Boog Carter didn't even start returning punts until, the fifth game? So you've got other players that are going to stand out more even to people that just follow it kind of casually just because they had such great seasons. Tennessee doesn't really have that across the board.
And a lot of good quarterbacks in this league this year, too.
Oh, yeah.
All right, very good. When we come back, the Athletic ranks, speaking of quarterbacks, the Athletic ranks Nico Iamaleava here. They put Joey Aguilar down here beneath the graphic. Right there. What do we think about that? They also describe these guys in tiers where they rank them. We'll read you what they said about the tiers. We've got a lot more to come. You want to stick around for the penalty discussion. You want to stick around for the Saban discussion. That one's going to be fun. So come on back on the Sports Source. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by A.G. Hines Company. Folks, they've got all kinds of building materials, and they have for more than 100 years, 105 years to be exact. If you're looking for cost-efficient materials, really energy-efficient materials, if you're looking just quality, high-quality materials, Nudura, cultured stone, they've got it at A.G. Hines Company. They've got the prices that the do-it-yourselfer, the person with the home improvement project, you can get in there and take advantage. But it's the same quality stuff that some of the biggest construction companies in the state of Tennessee go and buy from A.G. Hines Company. aghines.com to learn more. All right, I want to welcome in the next member of our panel right over there, Tyler Ivins. Tyler, thanks for being here.
Appreciate it, guys.
And now I want to unveil, something spooky. Now I want to unveil, we went to black just to unveil it, our poll question. If we've got it, we might have an issue with graphics. It appears we have some sort of, there we go. There's the lower third. That's what we call that in the biz. It's a lower third.
Learn something.
Do we have the poll question? If not, we'll worry about it. We don't have the poll question. Okay. Well, if you want to play along with our poll, you can go to sportsource.tv, or now you can just check it out as ssdn.tv. Either one go to the same place. The website is now up and running. Not that you'd know it from our poll, which we checked earlier, but has somehow blown up in the last 10 minutes. At any rate, if we get it back, I'll ask you about it later. If not, go play it at our website, sportsource.tv, ssdn.tv, and check out the new website. It's not only got the Sports Source on there every Sunday afternoon, it also will now show you everything from the Sports Source digital network, and there's the poll. All right, that took long enough. And one person went and found that it was already up. So thanks to that person. The poll question, what will the Vols' regular season record be? 10 or more wins? Will it be 9-3? Will it be 8-4? That's what the person voting at home said. Oh, somebody else has found it. 7-5 or 6 wins or fewer. You tell us, and all you have to do right there under the Hearthside Bank's a QR code. Use your smartphone, click on that, or as I say, go to our website, go to the poll section. You can vote there as well. We'll follow that as it goes. You'll answer us about our expectations. Tell us whether or not they're falling, rising, whatever. All right.
We're allowed to vote the poll question.
Finally, sure you can. You're doctoring the numbers, but okay, it's not scientific now. The Athletic ranked this week Nico Iamaleava and Joey Aguilar. They put Nico Iamaleava number 19. He was considered a Tier 2 quarterback, and what Tier 2 meant was defined as winners who have proven their mettle. They can carry the team, but may have limitations when it comes to certain traits or question marks about their consistency. All right. Then you go down from 19 all the way down to number 60, and you see Joey Aguilar, and he is in Tier 5. So Tier 2 for Nico, 3, 4, then Joey's 5. Aguilar says, you've probably seen these quarterbacks before. Many have played well in college but haven't put it all together consistently yet and bring some what-ifs into 2025. There's some lower-end Power 4 guys here, but if you're a Group of 5 fan, there are some really good ones here. So basically they're saying you have a group of 5 quarterback, which, okay, you got him from group of 5, no surprise. Thoughts on their view? Nico 19, proven winner, proven his medal, little inconsistent. Joey Aguilar, tier 5, he's a group of 5 guy. What do you think, Ryan?
I think Nico is only in the proven winner category because he played with the top 10 defense last year. But I understand.
And had Dylan Sampson.
And had Dylan Sampson. So, yeah, I think that's I don't know. I don't know what to do with Nico this year. The talent's clearly there, but I'd probably have him a tier lower, frankly, just not knowing what he's going to be able to do with a less talented surrounding cast at UCLA. So, and against Big Ten competition at that. So I just think he's less proven than a lot of people realize, and that's one of the reasons I'm not really. I think so many people are just automatically taking Tennessee down a game with Nico gone. I'm not, because I think Nico, he threw like 4 touchdown passes against ranked teams last year. He didn't do a lot to.
The only thing he did was not get you beat.
Right.
He didn't throw the interceptions.
Right. And Joe Milton did the same thing. I mean, a lot of guys in Tennessee's system have done that.
It's the system, you would think.
Yeah.
We'll find out this year.
Right. So I think Nico's a little too high. Aguilar, probably about right. I mean, he's got to show what he can do at a higher level. That's the big thing. You know what he can do at Appalachian State. He threw 30-plus touchdowns 2 years, but what's he going to do against this kind of competition? You just don't know.
If we're in wait-and-see mode for Joey Aguilar making the move from Group of 5 to Power 5, I think we should be in wait-and-see mode for Nico Iamaleava leaving Tennessee and going out to L.A. I mean, you can look at UCLA's offense, what's returning from last year. Worse offensive line than what he had in Knoxville. He doesn't have as many wide receivers that left in the transfer portal than what he had in Tennessee. That's questionable at the wide receiver position. But a whole lot of rearranging the furniture what he had in Knoxville. He didn't upgrade to a luxury apartment when he went out to L.A., so I'm in wait-and-see mode in both of these categories and tiers for both quarterbacks.
Yeah, I kind of like the rearranging of the furniture, because I was like, last year, too, was also a very much mixed bag for Nico Iamaleava and how slow the offense was in the first quarter, first half of these SEC games. You go from, UT Chattanooga throwing 700 yards to maybe getting 70 in SEC play, and I think the reason why maybe people are a little bit more down on Joey Aguilar is because he is so unproven. How many people really were watching App State? It is Group of 5. It's not like Oklahoma and you're getting John Mateer from Washington State. So it's a little bit different on like who is proven, how are you proven, what was that competition, is there really all of this upside? So I think you probably could put Joey Aguilar pretty much anywhere after the top 25 and could maybe make an argument, because it really is just like a guessing game at this point.
Yeah, I mean, for those who are down on this, just here's one for them to put an arrow for their quiver, and that is, where would Hendon Hooker have been ranked in these tiers going back? You don't, of course, at the same time, where would Joe Milton have been ranked? Probably higher than he wound up. Hooker would have been lower than he wound up. So we'll see. Both those guys are going to have a chance to prove it. I did think it was interesting. I was looking at Nico Iamaleava's schedule for UCLA this year. He does make a return trip to Columbus, Ohio. Mm-hmm. That will be interesting to see how he performs up there with a totally different unit compared to how he performed up there. He didn't get a lot of help, but we'll be able to see if UCLA has any more of a chance at Ohio State than Tennessee did last year. My guess is no.
Threw for 104 yards in that game.
Yeah, and he ran constantly and showed toughness, but it didn't add up. When we come back, would 7-5 or 8-4, and that's kind of what a 9th place finish in the SEC will do for you, would that be enough to keep Josh Heupel off the hot seat for fans? Come on back, we'll discuss that. Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Uncle Jim's River Cove Campground. Boy, they offer all kinds of views when you go there. You can pick the riverside, you can choose the mountainside, right there on the Little Pigeon River. And the other great thing about it, if you want to do tent camping, they've got the great spots there. If you want to do RV camping, they've got all the hookups you could imagine. Plus, they've got a location that's 10 minutes away from all the different sites and attractions right up there in Sevierville, in Sevier County. River Cove Campground, Uncle Jim's River Cove Campground. Check it out, rivercovecampground.com. Okay, this number, and I bring this up for a reason, this was the poll. I said at the time we would save it. This was from the day after the spring game. Iamaleava had left, and our poll was, will you give Josh Heupel a pass if UT struggles without Iamaleava? 84% said yes, I back his decision. 5% said, sure. And 11% said no, he's got to win anyway. But 84% 3 months ago said they're going to give him a pass this year. They back him on the Nico thing. Tyler Ivins. my question now, 9th, 10th, or 11th is probably going to be 7-5, 8-4.
Mm-hmm.
It's about where Florida was down in that range last year. Will that be enough to keep Josh Heupel off a hot seat next offseason? I don't mean with Danny White. I mean, will fans be calling for heads if they go 7-5 or 8-4 this year? Even though back in 3 months ago they said 84% said give him a pass. Blame Nico.
How did you get to that 7-5? Who did you
Oh,
lose?
you're going to dance around.
No, I'm not.
I knew you were.
No.
Okay,
No.
Hang
If
on,
you're
let me put up
7-5.
a graphic. I knew somebody would say that. I'm just teasing you. I'm not attacking. Can we put up the full screen with the schedule? And I see it right there on their program on it. There we go. All right. So there. You said, how do you get there?
Okay, so stay with me. You lose to the big three. That's at Alabama. That's at Florida. You lose at home to Georgia. Let's say that fourth loss, you sneak in. John Mateer has a great season. Your 4 losses is Oklahoma. I'm sorry. If you have a 5th loss against one of the dog meats, neutral site to Syracuse, Arkansas coming to your house after they embarrassed you last year, Diego Pavia, senior day, or you lose up to Mark Stoops, who you don't lose to, yeah, I'm going to have a problem at 7-5 if I'm a Tennessee fan this year. 8-4, okay, you lost to the blue chips, the guys who are in the blue chip ratio who have a better roster than you this year. So I guess to split your question, 8-4 they should be fine. 7-5, and I want to know who that 5th team was that got you when they weren't supposed to get you.
If you lose to Syracuse, to me, in the first game with Joey Aguilar,
They're not good. That's
we don't know if
football
Tennessee,
team.
we don't know if
Tennessee
Tennessee's
is.
good.
Joey Aguilar's first game. I'm sorry, I'm not putting
In
that as
an
an
NIL
automatic 50-point
in
win.
an NIL world where you're supposed to be able to cut a check, Syracuse has no money. So if you have all these guys that you're allocating funds to and you lose to a school with no money,
Go ahead.
I could not disagree more because I think you have to look at the big picture.
Okay.
I don't think you can look at this one season. You look at the past 3 years, you're averaging 10 wins a season.
Sure.
You lose the Nico on the thing, and everybody said, yeah, we're behind it. So no, one season, if it's 7-5, I can't see him being on the hot seat.
not at all, but I think there's a huge gap with this fan base between 7-5 and 8-4. There's a big difference between spending December in Nashville or Charlotte and spending December in
Here's one thing I'd say real quick.
Jacksonville?
Shreveport.
Not really.
Jackson.
Here's one thing I'd say real quick.
There's not a big difference between any of those cities.
Last season, guys, you were 2 plays away, 2 possessions from being 8-4 to me. The Alabama game, the
Yes.
personal foul penalty on Bama at the end, that could have changed. Florida takes you to overtime. They could have gone for 2. And
Oh, hell
Yeah,
So
and here's the thing.
But still,
I don't like playing those games because you can always usually Vol fans
a
play it
couple
the
of
other
things
way.
go different in
Yeah,
1998, and you're 9.
Well, it's
Well,
like
and
the
also a
but
couple
still.
things go your way last year.
Yeah,
You're
it could be a
11-1.
couple of freaky, fluky things too.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you think he'll be on the hot seat with
7-5
fans?
puts him so firmly on the hot seat, his butt will be burning in February. I just don't think, one,
But the poll, Bob.
but yes,
Don't
because
you believe people are going to stick
immediately
to that?
sympathetic after something happens.
Yes.
And then it changes. If he is 7-5, there will be people that said, see, told you so. He's a mid-major coach. That's all he is. Yeah, he got lucky. And I think 8-4 doesn't get him on a hot seat. I think they show him where a seat is. So
You would be seated here.
yes,
Heupel.
I mean,
Tough room.
you know, I'm sorry. I think
I'm not
7-5.
saying, you're not saying
and
it's
here's the
right.
thing, it's
you're just
totally
saying it's-
unfair. Completely unfair.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him on the hot seat, but I think he would be.
If he this year, if he went 5-7, I would still say, look what the man has done. Something didn't work out.
Sure.
You had built your team around the highest paid player in the history of college football, and he
At that
bails
time,
on
yeah.
you. So I wouldn't put him on the hot seat for anything outside of
Gross
turns out he's
negligence.
Got a trunk full of McDonald's bags or something.
Yeah. Chick-fil-A, it turned out.
Yes.
I am a snob for hotel rooms. I have to stay in a 5-star hotel. I have to have the nicest of nice. When you're in the college football
We just
playoff,
lost half our audience.
okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. When you're in the college
blame
football
him.
playoff like you were last year, you can't go from this is nice. Check out this college football playoff to 7-5. You can't. 8-4, you can live with it, and it's who those 8-4 are is the ingredients you throw in the pot. After that, man, again.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I'll
don't
take
like
one.
stay in dumps.
Yeah.
So I'm not a snob like that.
Do they have
to
the
go to
people?
breakfast. Do they offer continental
I
breakfast?
tell you what, that's a real short memory on where you were before Josh Heupel got here.
Oh,
That's what I would
Completely
say.
fair. Don't you know?
Completely
I mean,
I mean,
the
you
Vol
go
fan
back
base is
into the-
extremely passionate.
Yes.
That means they ride
week-
really high and really low.
After Pruitt,
Yes.
and the fact that this man has done all of these things in the
Yes.
coming out of that.
Yes.
No, I would give him a 2-year pass.
I'm with you.
Turn things
But
around.
we live in a what have you done for me lately
Right.
society.
Sure.
Okay,
Exactly.
the point here is you're saying what Vol fans will do, not what you're doing, not what you would do.
Right.
Yeah, I got it. And the poll right now, it's a good thing you're saying 8-4 wouldn't get him there because most of the people out there say 8-4. You can go ahead and keep playing along here, but 41% of you say 8-4 is what you're expecting, which tells me that the expectation levels based on all these preseason predictions have dropped a little.
Yes.
I think 8-4, 9-3. So there you've got 45, so that's 66%, and then is that 8%? So 75% expect 8 or better. If I did my math
You
right,
know what I
about
think?
24% say
The high
7
and
or
the
worse.
low, they live in Kentucky.
Building, yeah. All right, when we come back, fun little exercise regarding Nick Saban, the rumor that he wants to come back. We did this on the YouTube Digital Network. I want to see what these guys say. It's not a shot at Josh Heupel, but what if you had a really good Josh Heupel, but Nick Saban calls and says, I've always wanted to wear the orange. I want to come back and coach there. Best coach ever? What do you do? We'll discuss that a little later. I'll show you what the viewers said, who they supported on our YouTube channel. Come on back. Welcome back to the Sports Source. It's rare. I just had to go, shut up! Welcome back again. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Those folks are getting a lot of calls right now regarding termites and, Bob, be careful when you're staying in those dumb hotels, bed bugs. They're getting a lot of calls about bed bugs right now. I was out of town a couple weekends ago, and I'm one of those freaks that always goes and checks the mattress. You look for signs. Like, I am not bringing bed bugs home. If you are an unlucky person and you bring bed bugs home, Southeast Termite and Pest Control can get rid of them. And how do I know this? I have heard some stories that would make your skin crawl from the folks at Southeast. They make people's homes crawl, I can tell you that. But I've heard stories. Matthew Haynes has shared some bed bug stories with me. Trust me, you don't want those things in your home. They can get rid of them. SoutheastTermite.com to learn more. Avoid the bed bugs. Go hotel shopping at TylerIvans.com, not BobHodge.com. All right. Rumors emerged this week that after a year of retirement, Nick Saban wanted to return to coaching. On the Sports Source Digital Network, our YouTube channel, we had some fun with that. Kevin Simon, Vince Ferrara, Tyler Ivans, and myself, we debated, what if Nick Saban said, I've always dreamed of wearing the orange, and he called us, we were the new AD. What would we do? You got a good coach in Josh Heupel, I believe. There's some people out there who don't believe that. I believe he's a good coach. I look at what he's done, and I think it's remarkable. ESPN, as a matter of fact, Bill Connolly did his SP Plus thing.
Right.
He ranked the current active coaches, Ryan Day number 1, Josh Heupel number 2, ahead of Kirby Smart and Steve Sarkisian and everyone else. I don't go there,
Interesting.
but he's awfully good. Question is, Nick Saban's the best ever, though. In my opinion, there's no one even close. So, would you make a change there? Bob, I'll ask you, would you pick up the phone and listen to Coach Saban, or would you say, man, you're 73, I got my guy here, we're good. What do you do?
Reenacting a scene from Goodfellas and taking Coach Heupel for a ride
Oh, really?
in a heartbeat. You're
Holy
talking what you
smokes.
just said.
Wow.
The greatest coach, arguably, and probably inarguably, in college football history. And if we're assuming he has still got it, last game he coached, his team barely lost to the soon-to-be national champions in a quarterfinal game. So he walked away and still had it. If you're telling me Nick Saban at the top of his game, I will take it in a heartbeat. Hey, Josh, look at the flowers.
Wow, that's harsh and cold. That shouldn't have started with you. Ryan, what are you doing?
I think it depends on. I got one key question for him. How long are you doing this?
Yep.
If his age is a concern and you think you're getting 3-4 years out of him, I'm not doing it.
I think you can get 5 years out of him.
If you can get at least 5 years out of him, I'm willing to do it.
Well, here's the thing. This country elects presidents now. The last 2 have been 78 each. So do you think it's harder to run a football program or the country?
Yeah.
So the age shouldn't be an issue. But if you're saying 4 or 5 years, okay, you got to get 5.
I think I got to have at least a 5-year commitment from him going in. And the other thing is this, though. Nick Saban, his best years, to your point, he ended pretty well, but we were seeing an erosion of the talent at Alabama in this transfer portal and
it's a new era. Yeah.
I don't know that part of what made Nick Saban so great as a coach was his talent accumulation over the years. I don't know if you can do it that way in this era to the same extent.
I will say this, though.
You were a top 3 team almost every year for his last 5 years.
But it was toward the beginning of the NIL era, so.
I'll listen to you.
Thank you. The host has something to say. No, I was just going to. The simple point is, he turned LSU around in year 2.
He did.
He turned Alabama around in year 2. So it wasn't okay. It'll take 4 years of building the talent.
Right.
He's a pretty good coach. I think no knock on Heupel. I think Nick Saban could come in and get more out of anybody's roster. Steve Sarkisian's.
What I think he would do is immediately improve your recruiting across the board. But would it be top 3 in the country?
Okay.
That's what.
There's one very important person you got to talk to first.
Chuck?
Miss Terry.
Yes.
That's his wife.
That's not the question.
Well, I know, but it is to me. It is because I want to know what's changed with him that all of a sudden he decides he wants to come back, and Tennessee's where he has to be.
I think we're assuming he's coming back.
Well, but that's part of it, right? No, can I tell you something else, guys?
Now, let's say he's just. He got tired, didn't like going. He didn't like
being on the lake. So
he missed it. He missed it. He loves Knoxville.
But it's still still the portal. And I tell you what, it's way too much fun to beat him.
Okay.
To me,
Paige.
So the second time that's on the clock. Honestly, it's 4 or 5 years for Josh Heupel, especially you played this season out. Where is he in year 5? I'm like, I have Saban out in the wings. Like, hey, we're going to see what Heupel does this year. If it's not a 9-10 win season, we're going to take Nick Saban. I think automatically you're going to get the top talent in the country. Maybe even your boosters, their pockets get a little bit deeper and they give you a little bit more money. I think having somebody like Saban, and I think because this fan base and because what Heupel and this program's been able to do, they're hungry for a 10-win, 11-win season year in and year out because of what Heupel's been able to do. Saban could probably get them to that.
I would get rid of Josh Heupel 3 hours before kickoff of opening game.
Okay, we don't need to campaign for that. You've taken this a little to an extreme, I think. For a guy who said, was it the last segment? You said, I'd give him 2 years of flailing.
But that ain't going up against Nick Saban.
Okay. Now you're spending 3 hours before Syracuse.
Okay, I wouldn't make the move, but
You would not?
because I'm just loyal. I think Josh Heupel's done enough. Now, what I would want, I tell you what, I'm not going to say this because we had a viewer say this and give a good answer, and it's exactly what the answer I was going to give. I'm going to let the viewer say it instead of me. When we come back, we'll show you what the Sports Source Digital Network people said in the comments. Would they have been like Bob? Saban! Or would they have been like Chuck? Call Miss Terry. No, would they have been like Chuck? Keep Heupel. We'll show you what they said next. Come on back. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. Right now, it is the G3 summer closeout sale. It goes through July 30th, so the clock is ticking, folks. G3 fishing boats with rebates up to $4,000 off, depending on the model. G3 Suncatcher pontoons with rebates up to $10,000, depending on the model. Madisonville Marine right now, folks, the G3 summer closeout. When I see $10,000 potential rebate, I think that's worth checking out. There's no better place to buy a boat than Madisonville Marine right on Highway 411 North. Where? Madisonville, of course. All right. Welcome back in. We had some fun discussing the Saban Heupel thing on our Sports Source Digital Network, all fantasy. What kills me is the number of people who get in there, leave a comment, and they didn't watch it because this would never happen. It's like the first line of the clip. This would never happen. Okay, yeah, we know it would never happen. It's silly. It's just to create that. We had a good little debate going here. It's an interesting little discussion. It also shows you how firm the fan base is behind a coach. And in this case, we got a lot of comments. 90% of them were, sorry, Nick, we got our guy, which surprised me that it was so strong behind Heupel. Now, if the first scenario plays out and they're 7-5 or 8-4 at the end of the year, and I ask this question, I don't know if it'll be 90%, but let's take a look at some of the viewer perspectives. One person said, pay Nick Saban $20 million to coach the defensive side of the ball.
I like that.
All right. Never wouldn't hire him, but he'd be a good replacement for Tim Banks next season. I assume he means if Banks goes and becomes a head coach somewhere, because I wouldn't want to get rid of Tim Banks. He's been a great coach so far. To be honest, when it got hard to coach, old Saban left. So I don't want someone who is too old to put the time into the program. He can go somewhere else. And Josh, we trust. So all three pro Heupel. Let's go to the next one. The only way that I would consider it is if I thought that our current coach had a high percentage of leaving for Oklahoma, and that's where I was going to go. You guys were talking about wanting a 5-year deal out of Nick Saban. I would want a long-time commitment out of Josh Heupel that no matter what happens somewhere else, you're staying. If that's the case, Heupel's my guy. Somebody said no to Nick Saban, keep Josh Heupel forever. Wow. But I'm a Tennessee alumni. Give it to Nick Saban. Bob often goes by the name Leslie Farmer.
Yeah, really.
All right, let's go to the next one. You would beg Saban to take over the job title of, quote, every coordinator and assistant, unquote, and watch him and Heupel win as a two-man team. So basically, Heupel is the head coach, Saban is your staff. Hell no to any coach. We'll keep our boy. Too many miles on the Saban tires. That's Ricky Williams. We appreciate him watching. He's a heck of a running back this day. Go to the next one. I agree 100% you can't fire Heupel when he's turned Tennessee around like he did. I'm sorry, Saban is probably the best coach ever, but I couldn't fire Heupel. Next person, I'd say bye-bye Joshy. Somebody else, nope, he wouldn't stay long. And even if it was a 10-year guarantee, it'd be a kick in Josh's face. No way. Edit, it's still a lot of fun and entertainment to muse about this for a little while. I thought so too. Next one, I'd take him in a heartbeat, and you'll see where I accidentally put the same one in twice. I really wanted to reiterate what Robert Hensley said. No, Nick Saban, keep Josh Heupel forever. And then someone else said, tell him to wait until Josh retires. Do we have another one, or is that it?
But even still,
I think that's it. Okay, those reactions. And that was kind of my thought is everyone's like, well, I want a long guarantee out of Nick Saban. I would want to know, Josh, and I don't think there's any love lost there at Oklahoma, but if Brent Venables somehow goes south this year and they come and Mama comes calling and offers you all kinds of money and they say, we're taking Bob Stoops and throwing him in a river. He won't be around. It's all yours. I would want a guarantee from Josh Heupel. I am locked in at Tennessee. If he does that, we're good to go. So that's my take on the whole thing. Your thoughts on that? We talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
You were a
adamant of keeping Josh.
Total opposite of Bob.
Yes. Plus, we've done a little research on our show. It just seems, and you already brought up getting older, presidency, age. We've just seen across many different sports that magic number of 74, 73. When you get into that range, you're just winning production slips. Ask Mac Brown, ask Greg Popovich in the NBA. Yeah. I just personally believe where we're heading with the college football playoff, with more playoff games, more chances of slip, that right now this is kind of getting out of the realm of Nick Saban. He is the greatest coach I have ever seen in any sport. I respect that, but it's past his time, and I just don't know if he can compete in today's age.
Will Bill Belichick reset that market?
We're UNC. There's no way we would hire somebody similar in age to Mac Brown. We welcome Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's past his time until he actually tries it and it doesn't work. I mean, I'm not going to say Nick Saban can't coach.
Well, the real debate here, though, it wasn't supposed to be about whether or not he's 74 or 76. The idea is,
so let me just,
would you take the greatest ever and trade it for what you've got, who's pretty good?
I think only coordinates into the conversation when you look at how the track record is. I think that's why Bill Belichick, you're a little bit down because his last couple of years with the Patriots did not look like they did when Brady was there.
All his years pre and prior to
with
the Patriots, pre-Patriots, and then after. Brady left, nothing was good except when he had Brady.
Sure.
So, that's a little different, whereas Saban's been pretty much good since LSU on. Yeah.
So bottom line
Nick Saban's ability.
Okay, we're taking too long.
Nobody
cares. When we come back, here's an interesting way of looking at the SEC programs, all right? Which of the programs around the conference, you take Nick Saban at his best, where could he have won? What places have the resources, the recruiting base for Nick Saban to have won championships? Different way of looking around the SEC. We'll go program through program. Where could he have won? That's next. Then we got Tennessee penalty stuff to come up. And why didn't Josh Heupel, why won't he and Danny White just say, you want 8 games, you want 9 games? We're paying you $10 million. Do you not owe us an answer? All that to come. Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Hearthside Bank. Folks, are you trying to invest your money and create a retirement nest egg? Are you saving for a dream home? Maybe just your first home, a place to call your own. Are you planning for a child's college? Well, Hearthside Bank can help on all those fronts, every step of the way. They can help you make the plan. They can help you stick to the plan. And they've got people there who care about you reaching those goals. It is a very personal style of banking at Hearthside, and I invite you to check out hearthsidebank.com. And I reiterate this line, they are very, very good people. And that is, actually that's not a line, that's me just saying it. They are really good people. I met with them this week. hearthsidebank.com to learn more. Again, playing off this Saban thing, I just thought since we got that rumor this week, we could make a little hay with it. And I thought this is an interesting way of doing it. When you look around the SEC, there are some obvious programs. We'll go through a bunch of them. There's some obvious programs where, yeah, he would win there. But there are some others that in the current state, if you take Nick Saban in his prime and put him in these current situation, NIL, that kind of thing, would he be able to win at Arkansas? Paige, does Arkansas have the resources, the fan base, the recruiting base for him to win championships?
In Saban's prime, I don't care what the program he had before. He will have everything he would want once he's there. So you can go down all the list. I'll say yes.
Okay, well then, never mind. We'll be back on the Sports Source with another segment. All right, so this segment involves Tyler and Bob. That is not how this game is played, Paige. All right.
Okay, yes, he can win at Arkansas.
Yeah, okay, we know that now. All right, would you agree?
I
don't.
And here's the thing,
His
Arkansas
prime?
was good, had a good program, and up into the 2000s. I think somebody like Saban could revitalize that. In 1998, they came in here with a chance to be ranked number 1.
Yeah, that was a short run. It was a short run under Houston Nutt.
They were still competitive in the old Southwest Conference. So I think you could revitalize
40 years
Arkansas.
ago. 40 years ago.
Not that long.
I don't know. In this current state, I don't know. I mean, they do have the Walton money behind them.
Arkansas, no.
They got John Calipari.
They have Tyson Chicken. They have all that money over there. That's a lot of money.
But they still don't have the money Kentucky has.
But I would say location, in a world where location should matter, it's Fayetteville, Arkansas.
They're having to go to Texas and are we
was
going to get into this again?
Alabama.
Did you do the Lubbock
What?
thing? You're just going to attack another city on the
No,
show?
it's still Fayetteville, Arkansas. That's what it is.
Every
Five-star, they don't have five-star hotels.
Yeah. Fayetteville, Lubbock. All right, so Arkansas is yes, and then 2 no's. I don't think they could. Auburn, that's a yes. I don't think he would go there, but that's a yes. Florida, obviously, could win there.
Yes.
Georgia, yes.
Yes.
Kentucky. Well, we know Paige. Yeah, he could go win championships in Kentucky.
It's in his prime and the current state of college football. How are we saying no?
He didn't win at Michigan. Didn't win championships at Michigan
And
State.
what do they have in
Was
common?
that his prime?
No, but what do they have in common?
Okay.
What does Michigan State and Kentucky have in common? Basketball first. Yes.
But you're in the SEC. Do you
I think
want to be
Kentucky's
basketball
always
first?
Kentucky, yeah, Kentucky does. They're the ones that you had a deal between the SEC that, in terms of this revenue sharing, we'll all do the same split. And Kentucky said, no, we don't want to give all that money to football, and that blew up the split.
And I think that would be his undoing at Kentucky.
Bear Bryant didn't win at Kentucky because it was famous. They gave Adolph Rupp a car, a new Cadillac, and they gave him a lighter, and he was like, "I'm off to Texas A&M." That's a true story. Okay, so Kentucky, Paige, yes, us no. LSU, he already won there.
Yes.
Missouri.
What's the timetable? Are you saying year 1 he needs to win? Am I going to give him that 5-year
You've already
contract?
answered. Don't backtrack it now. You can't weasel
I'm
your way
trying
back
to
into the
figure out. No,
segment.
I'm still saying yes, but I'm trying to figure out why you guys are saying no.
Because
Is
there are
it
some
because you want it
places-
to be immediate?
There's just
There's some places you can't
show up.
win and win championships.
And
I'm not trying to go nerd here, but he can't show up to a lot of these places like Thanos and just snap his fingers and
This
everything's
is taking
good.
too long.
I think Missouri would be the one that would be the
Okay, so
hardest
you
for
think-
me to decide.
Okay.
Because Missouri has been successful since they came
Never
to the SEC.
championship.
But never a championship. So that's the one to me that would be the hardest to determine.
They spent a century getting their teeth kicked in
Yeah.
by Oklahoma and Nebraska. So I don't see them suddenly turning around, beating Texas and everybody else. Mississippi State.
No.
Paige, yes. The rest of us would say that school is second only to Vanderbilt in the SEC for being bad. Next, Oklahoma.
Yes.
Well, in the current,
Yes.
everybody's like Oklahoma is moving to the SEC now. I think he could.
Yes.
Okay. Ole Miss.
I'm like Bob. That's my
That's
maybe.
a tough one.
That's my maybe.
That's
one
my
I'm-
maybe.
I'm with Missouri
And I already
on that
know
one,
you-
too.
I'll just smile at the camera.
Well, you took
because
yourself
you're
out of
saying
it.
that.
You took yourself out of it.
I
That's a
think in
maybe.
the end, I would say yes.
If
So would I.
Lane Kiffin can get you to 9 or
Yes,
10 wins,
and
that
that was
there
my
you
point.
go.
That was my
Okay.
point.
But the thing is, are they going to start kicking up money on the recruiting and not just Portal King? Because, well, anyway, South Carolina, that one I would have, 20 years ago, I said no. I think,
But the way they look right now,
I look at what Clemson
Yeah.
did there. I
Yeah.
think South Carolina's got, I would be
With
in
a
on South
coach that a
Carolina.
lot of people aren't crazy about.
That's
that
what I'm.
doesn't-
Yeah, he's
you
doing.
want to talk
that.
about like recruiting at Don Staley there? Like I just think, I think it'd be so easy.
Texas, yes. Tennessee, yes. Texas
Yep.
A&M,
Yes.
yes.
Of
course.
Vanderbilt. James Franklin won 9 games there
negative.
twice and then left.
Diego Pavia, they run Tennessee.
No.
That's right. They run to the
He wouldn't
no
want
on
to come to
Vandy.
Nashville.
No on Vandy.
Although you think about would you get a lot of country music stars? Oh. Would that, you got all the sidewalk
Like,
alums
look
up
at
there. Would all those folks say, man, we can buy a college football program here. We got Saban.
Yeah,
That would be the only interesting caveat there. So,
that'd be interesting.
when we come back, why won't Josh Heupel and Danny White just tell the fans whether or not you want 8 or 9 games in the SEC? I don't understand why this is the third rail? And I'll tell you why I asked that. There's the music. When we come back, we'll tell you why I'm asking that. And also, I'll play a little clip from something Tyler asked the question of Josh Heupel this week, and man, you would think he was insulted by it. It's a simple question. It's a simple question. Come on back, we'll see why he won't answer it. Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Safety Systems. Are you a business owner? What could be more important than the safety of your office, your equipment, and your people? When it comes to security systems, no one does it better than Safety Systems. I spoke with VFL J.J. Surlis this week. You should give him a call yourself. He and his team can take really good care of you. Nobody does security systems better in East Tennessee. SafeTsystems.com. All right, want to reveal the final poll results. What do we got? 8-4. 8-4 is your winner. 9-3 looks like it came in, 7-5. My eyes aren't great. 9-3 is second. 7-5 is third. Fourth appears to be the 10 wins or more. And then dead last is 6 or fewer. I appreciate you playing along. And if you're watching this show later today on YouTube on our Sports Source Digital Network, you can still play along. You can go check the answers at sportsource.tv, ssdntv.tv. But for us, that's where we're drawing the line, 8-4. Thanks for playing. All right. On Tuesday, after Josh Heupel spoke at SEC Media Days, he went on 99.1 The Sports Animal with Will West, Vince Ferrara, and this guy. And I was listening in my car, and I was amazed by one answer in particular.
So, Josh, if you're in favor of one transfer portal, might I ask if you're in favor of moving to the 9-game proposed conference schedule? I know that's been kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Maybe
Man,
you
I
will,
didn't
maybe
think
you
I was
won't.
getting that question from the hometown radio team. Come on, man.
Okay, maybe the answers. It is what it is. But at the same time, there's some people who believe, you got to do this for the college football playoff.
Well, I think there's answers that there's questions that got to be answered before
Sure.
you answer that question.
Sure.
If that makes sense. Where's the playoff going? How do you land in the playoff? I think, when we were down in Destin for SEC coaches meetings or conference meetings, and then Sankey talked about it here at the beginning of the week, I believe. You look at the historical data of the 8-game conference schedule inside of this league and the stark difference of what that looks like in a 9-game conference schedule in other leagues. And most teams inside of this league are playing another non-conference Power 4 opponent as well. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 that aren't, but our schedule at Tennessee is going to be one of the toughest schedules in the country every single year. our players love it. I love it, and I know our fans do too.
Yeah, incredibly tough schedule this year. It's ridiculous. It's just frightening how scary that. I mean, East Tennessee second? My goodness. What I don't understand there is that's a simple, straightforward question. It's not the question of the age. What are we talking about here? What are you in favor of, the 8 or the 9? Oh, man, don't ask that. And then Danny White never answers it either. And I think he's always said, well, the commissioner doesn't want us to talk about it. Yeah, okay. $10 million Heupel makes. $3 million for Danny White? I don't know. Tell your fans what you're for or against. The only reason not to say, yeah, we want 8, and everybody thinks they want 8, the only reason not to say we want 8 is because it makes you sound chicken. And if that's your fear, I don't know, think about that. Tyler, I commend you for at least asking the question, but at the same time, I thought that was just another question. I don't know why the reaction was, oh, man.
I just like asking questions I'd like to know the answers to, that our listeners, your viewers, would like to know the answers to. There's only been one coach, and if I'm off base, somebody correct me. There's only been one coach, at least this past 4 days, that actually mentioned it, and he had no problem mentioning it, and that was Eli Drinkwitz saying, I want the Big Ten, I want 9 conference games. We're really excited. It just seems nobody else is interested outside of the SEC, not in Columbia, Missouri, to answer this question. I don't know why.
I don't get as riled up about this one because like you said, I think we know the reason. Greg Sankey wants everyone to let him do the negotiating on this and not to have coaches piling on one side or the other.
Well, he didn't seem to mind it. Matter of fact, he just completely flip-flopped when the coaches went down and undercut the four bids for the SEC. He went in expecting that, and they all said, no, we'd rather do 5-11. He's like, oh, okay, 5-11. So the idea, no offense, but that doesn't hold water.
I just think coach's default stance is this is all going to be decided at a conference level. My opinion doesn't even necessarily matter that much. Why weigh in on this and ruffle feathers potentially?
Okay.
It's a safe.
It's easy. It's easy to be a coach in a college town, I guess, because the media just whatever you say, coach. $10 million. I just want to know what we're doing. I want to know. This is 4 straight years we've been saying 8 or 9. I'm tired of asking that question. Answer it. Where do you stand? I don't think that's difficult. Thoughts?
If it sounds like a chicken, looks like a chicken, and walks like a chicken, it's a chicken. And I think that's what it is. I just don't think Tennessee wants to go and play 9 conference games. So I don't think it's what you're saying, because Sankey seemed to me to be blindsided when people came back for 8. 2 years in a row, he's been blindsided by this. And yes, if you're for 8, just say you're for 8, and then by golly, we'll go from here.
It's because this looks bad. That's it. Because let me give you another example. I think
so.
Sankey is not for collective bargaining. Who has come out time and again for collective bargaining?
And I've been pro Danny White on that.
I'm pro Danny. I'm pro Josh. We did a thing on the digital network where I said I loved every answer this week from Josh Heupel, except that one. I thought Heupel killed it. I'm a Heupel fan. Save that and run it back in my face when he has a bad year this year. But I'm not down on Heupel. I'm down on not answering questions. And the idea that, well, we're deferring to Sankey, they say that, but then when it comes to other things that they're passionate about, they don't defer to Sankey.
Yeah.
It's because that doesn't make you look chicken to say we're for collective bargaining. If you say we want the easiest schedule possible, you look chicken, and that's why they don't say it. And if that's not the reason, then come out and say
it.
What your reason is, because I think it's 8 is what you want.
The other reality I know is Josh Heupel just doesn't answer many questions.
No,
there's that.
He
tends to, if there's a way for him to skirt it and say next to nothing, he's going to do that.
I'm just surprised, though, his reaction there, though.
Well, the fact about being surprised by the question. I mean, just come out and say, you know what?
Everybody's asking that question.
I heard the interview. He was kind of being playful with you guys about it being the hometown media thing. So I think he was having some fun, but
he also didn't answer it.
Yeah, but he doesn't answer injury questions. He doesn't answer much of anything, you know.
He was having fun, but he had fun with that question.
Yeah.
He didn't have fun. You didn't say, hey, what do you think about Joey Aguilar? Oh, man, I didn't expect that from the hometown. He picked that question to say that. I'd just like to know, we keep saying, why don't they decide 8 or 9? Maybe it would start if some of the coaches and ADs in this conference would tell their fans what they want instead of, shh, we'll go in the back room and say it. Say it out loud if you want to do it. Okay, when we come back, inside Tennessee's penalty numbers since Heupel arrived. What do they tell us? Some fascinating numbers. For years, I've said, well, it's tempo. We told you when he got here. Look at the numbers, the penalty numbers at UCF. You're going to have a lot of penalties here because of that tempo. Well, the tempo has dropped. Now, the penalties? Come on back. Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Games and Things. If you watch the Sports Source Digital Network, you know all the games and things stuff we've got over there. I brought in a bar and bar stools. We got 2 pub tables, stools for those, poker table, pop a shot with Tennessee branding on it, which you can get at Games and Things, shuffleboard, jukebox. Folks, you can make the game room we have at Sports Source Digital Network the game room you have in your house by visiting ourgameroom.com or by checking out Games and Things in their showroom, corner of Kingston Pike and Lovell Road. Folks, I want to show you some numbers right here. Tennessee's penalties. By season, you had 13 games in each of these seasons, so it's the exact same comparison. Look at the numbers. That is stunning.
Wow.
That is absolutely amazing. 820 yards, 895 yards, 880 yards, 860 yards. That's basically 65, 66, 67 yards per game every single season. As I said going to break, we used to say, well, this is because tempo, get ready for this, you're going to see it. When he comes from UCF, we did a get to know Josh Heupel thing, and I said, this is one of the things you have to learn. Tempo has dropped off the last couple of years.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you, do you still say the penalties, there's going to be 3 choices. What's up here? Tempo. You now have a reputation, and people are looking for certain things. Or what we'd say about anybody else that's coaching and has a lot of penalties, discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they got great discipline off the field. But on-field discipline, that's what we would say if that were Alabama. If that were
Right.
Kentucky, we would say, well, the coach doesn't have a lot of discipline in terms of penalties. Where are we going?
Go ahead.
I still lean a little bit more toward the tempo because even with us talking about the tempo being diminished, they're still among the nation's leaders in points per minute and things like that. Or plays per minute, I should say. There's still a faster tempo than most teams. So I think that's part of it. You're running more plays. You're worried about getting to the line quickly as opposed to doing things exactly right. I'd like to see the breakdown. I've never done this. How many of these are on the offensive line?
I'm working.
Right.
Well,
Right.
I'm working on what the penalties are.
Yeah.
You'll see that.
Because sometimes this can be a result of talent, frankly. You commit more holds if you get beat, things like
Yes.
that. And
Yes.
so I wonder if some of it goes to that.
A lot of personal fouls last year.
And that too. Now that's where discipline comes into play. I do think that's part of it.
And that's where I was going to go. Certain penalties lend themselves more to lack of discipline. And when you've got a lot of personal fouls, that's one of them. When you were also right that a lot of holding calls goes to, okay, I'm not that great, and I've got to reach out and grab this guy just a little bit more. So my big question is, what is the price that is paid on Monday and Tuesday after a game where you might have had 3 penalties? And if you're paying a price and you're still committing them, okay, then discipline doesn't come in. But I just wonder, are penalties penalized at practice?
Well, the phrase I kept hearing, guys, from Coach Heupel, and it's over and over again, it's like play with great violence. Play with violence. It's like you're pushing it to the echo of the whistle. He's not looking for discipline necessarily. He's looking for that all the way to where it's something that could be called a penalty and probably is a penalty. And look, another thing too, I think it's tempo and I think it's your formation that puts your right tackle kind of on an island. He doesn't have any help a lot of times on the blocks. You're going to have holding penalties.
I think also you create a reputation for years, good or
Yeah.
bad. The Raiders are
Oakland Raiders.
always tops
Right.
in terms of, or now Las Vegas Raiders, always tops the penalties in the NFL. They've been 18 different
moved.
places. Yeah.
Right.
Been 18. I mean, they're always near the top of penalties, whether they're good or bad. I think at some point that becomes a reputation. You also have other coaches that are probably saying, hey, watch them. They're trying to get a quick start on this or that. I think that plays into it. Good teams, they'll get the benefit of the doubt from the ref because, well, they're a good team. They don't need to do this. And I think sometimes if you're a team that has penalties over and over, you're going to be watched more closely. I think that's part of it. If you want to see more of that, we did a full 15, 20-minute conversation. We broke down not only those numbers, but also the home and road splits on this penalty thing. That's very interesting. We know that Tennessee commits more penalties on the road, but boy, the numbers are pretty staggering. Go check that out on our digital network. Also, we'll show you the actual impact on winning percentage. due to the penalties. So that's at SSDN. You can find that ssdn.tv. Go to our website, or you can go to our YouTube channel and find it there. Bob, thanks for coming in today. I appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
I'm
heading over to Heupel's house, talking a little Nick Saban with him.
You're going to Bedbug Charlie's hotel somewhere.
I was going to say flea bag.
That's right. When we come back, we're going to bring Paige Dower and Tyler Ivins back out, and we're going to talk basketball. We're going to show you Tennessee's basketball schedule that has been unveiled. Come on back. And welcome back into the Sports Source. Folks, you can find us at the Sports Source Digital Network. That's hundreds of videos. We got shorts. It's free. It's on demand. You can check it out anytime, day or night. You can watch it on your phone. You can watch it on your app, on your TV at home, whichever way you like it. Also, you can follow us at Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter or X. Sports Source Saturday Kickoff. That is 1 hour of Vols coverage every single Saturday at 11 a.m. And starting in about a month from now, that is going to be a UT pregame show, and we will be live before the Tennessee-Syracuse game as the lead-in right here on Channel 6. And we'll have tons of people who are, let's see, Paige, you'll be part. Tyler, Ryan, you guys will be a part. Chuck, you're still Sunday. It's basically we're going to have Sunday crew, Saturday crew this year. And you're going to be still Sunday crew.
You're not fired.
Yeah, you're not fired. And we've also, Will Overstreet's going to sit in with us and join us on that first live show. I thought that makes sense. He opened his career at UT in 1998 against Syracuse. So, and they'll be joined by Ollie Lane, Kevin Simon, John Wilkerson. Nice. You've heard him for all these years doing Vol Network Radio on game day. Now he's coming over to join us. You can hear us here. And I'm sure he'll be doing 990, doing a little post game with you guys, I think, this year.
Absolutely.
That's the plan. So that's coming up Saturdays. We're already there at 11 a.m. every week, but coming UT football season will be a pregame show for you. Okay. Rick Barnes has filled out his basketball roster, gave the last slot to Ethan Berg, the Israeli guard we talked about a few weeks ago. He's gone international again. It's kind of we are the world over there.
Eitan, apparently.
Oh, is it Eitan?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there
Israeli.
You go. I can't get anything. Finally, a normal name, and it's not pronounced normally. My apologies to Eitan. Okay. He took the slot that Zakai Ziegler, is that right? That Zachy Ziegler was supposed to have gotten. Anyway, let's take a look at the basketball schedule. Here's the schedule that's been finalized, non-conference schedule. Mercer, Northern Kentucky, North Florida, Chaz Lanier's spot. Rice, Tennessee State. You got Rutgers, Houston, and then depending on how you do in Las Vegas, you play somebody else down there. Hopefully it'll be somebody good if you keep playing. At Syracuse, Illinois, you wind up that series in Nashville this time. Louisville comes to town, Gardner-Webb, South Carolina State. You got exhibition games, Duke, and then at Michigan. But the number you see there, that is the final net ranking for Tennessee's opponents as of last year. Yeah. I usually brag on Rick Barnes' schedule. In fact, I've said for years, let Rick Barnes handle the football scheduling. He does a great job. This one, not terrific.
Well, I really do like the middle of the schedule. I think even Houston's a preseason or might be a preseason number one team. They've got the number one high school
good rematch of the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I think that'll be really nice. You obviously have Illinois, Syracuse. I think like the middle is nice, and then the guys on the fringe maybe getting a little warmed up, and then at the end, I think it's like South Carolina State's in there at the end. Gets a little bit soft. A lot of the memes are like cupcakes for the responses, but
you got
I like the middle.
Rutgers, Houston.
Yeah.
Then you'll play somebody else who should be decent in Las Vegas. Syracuse at Syracuse, Illinois, Louisville. But boy, that Gardner-Webb, South Carolina State, that's a lot of 200s in there.
Yeah.
Tyler, you wanted to say something?
No, just quickly. Remember last year, for those of you who can remember the non-conference from last year, Tennessee took on a Montana team. Mm-hmm. Well, that Montana team went on to win the Big Sky. And some people are probably like, what does that matter? There are some field of 68 teams in there. The one I'll highlight, Northern Kentucky, has a real chance to win the Horizon this year. Outside of that, what I see in that, it's a little watered down than years past. But remember, you're talking about the best conference ever to reach the NCAA tournament, the SEC. That's what I kind of see there. To your point, who they play in Vegas, that 3-day stretch of going Rutgers, potentially Houston. If you could squeeze out one of those other big programs, a blue blood that's following you into Vegas, it could be massive.
Don't give them any ideas. Let's not start doing in basketball what they do in football. We don't need to play non-conference games. We're so scary in the league.
Well, you're not going to get that out of Barnes. You're not going to get that out of Barnes.
I know. Barnes does a good job scheduling.
I think he nailed it, though. I think the SEC's become so deep, you don't want to have that many losable games on your schedule.
Hey,
I say just make it its own Super League and don't ever go outside.
What
just
I noticed is a tremendous upgrade in your exhibition schedule.
That's fair.
Duke and Michigan. Yeah, go ahead.
No. Just the one thing that I would highlight there is you're right. You don't the South Carolina States, but then you'd get the Presbyterians of the world. At least you're getting some looks at schools that could potentially that's raise things in March.
Are fans sitting there saying, "All right, I can't wait. I'm going to go watch Northern Kentucky."
That's
what I'm
how
getting
Rick
at.
Barnes' schedule sometimes, because even when you look at Norfolk last year, you weren't expecting
Another
that to be a
tournament
really
team.
good game, but because of their size, they gave Tennessee a really good challenge, and who stopped them at the end of the season? A really tall Houston
MEAC
team.
champion, good point.
So they go
So
for
it
matchups.
didn't prepare them.
You know what it would have looked like if they didn't have that? I don't know.
Thanks to all these folks. Thanks to Bob. Thanks to our
Let's get outta
sponsors.
here.
Thanks to you for watching. Thanks to Eton Berg. And I'll see you next Sunday right back here and see you on the digital network all week. Thank you.